Yeah, so I live up the road, and I was really excited when we got this residency because it's a space I used to visit a lot with my kids and just like wander about in. Like most people in Catford, it was like basically one of the only clothes shops. So yeah, when we got it, I decided to kind of do something that relates to the community and my own interests in my practice, which is mainly architecture and suburban architecture, like local architecture, and also clothes, so like what they mean to people and like how they tell stories about people, and the same with buildings, like how these breeze blocks, which is what my sculpture is. So the breeze blocks are something that you see all around this area, and they're painted in different ways and kind of through the ages. So I think like most of them arrived in the 50s in this area, and they have been kind of like arranged differently, painted differently, and in a way for me like sometimes represent like a small part of the identity of the person who lives in the house in a similar way to clothing. So what I decided to do for this project was get people from the local community to do a mending exchange. So I got them to donate one thing they didn't want anymore, like one item of clothing, and then one that they wanted mending. So I offered to mend like one thing for each person. And I accessed the people through my own community, like the school that my children go to, and also like people walking past on the street, because there was a lot of interest in the shop. People thought it was like new Peacocks opening and stuff like that. So yeah, I was kind of chatting to a lot of people at the street and convinced some of them to take part. I don't know if any of them are now. Yeah. And then I also just went door to door around the area, just kind of like getting to know people and convincing them to take part in the exchange. So yeah, then I changed the clothing into breeze block shapes. So I wanted to make it in a kind of way that you do, in like a technique of fast fashion. So finished with an edge which is like overlocked. So to kind of like reference the way clothes were made that were sold in this shop, and kind of to comment on the fact that these clothes take a lot longer to make than people pay money for, and you know, like kind of linking back to, because I'm interested in like domesticity and the role of particularly women, and also that fast fashion relies so heavily on women. Like 80% of people who make garments are women in kind of developing world. So I kind of wanted to reference that, and something else. I can't really remember what else I was going to say. But yeah, so I made it. This is a clothes rail that was found in Peacocks. And yeah, so I thought it was quite a nice way to frame it. And also you see, I don't know if any of you know the Tesco's in Catford, there's like big wall of breeze blocks in the estate, which is above Tesco's. So I sort of wanted to recreate that. So I think that's it. Oh yeah, and also you can see here there's a big list of the people who took part and what they donated. So you can have a go at seeing like what each is, because I haven't like done a grid, so I thought it was kind of nice to like just have a look. Anyone got any questions?
How did you decide how to arrange the blocks in what order?
Yeah, it was something that I wanted to do in a haphazard way, but then I found when I just put them all on the ground here, because by the way I made it right here, and this is where I did a lot of the exchange, as well as Corbett Community Library. So I arranged them on the floor, and I was like, it looks a bit weird, you know, when like you've got this idea in your head, and when you actually put it together, you're like, I'm not sure. And then I just kept rearranging it until it felt right. So there's some black ones which are Peacocks uniforms that were left here. So I felt like they needed to be kind of spread out, and there was almost like a bit of kind of colour going through it, like a pink area and a kind of greeny bit. So yeah. Any more questions?
What were people's reactions to like clothes being into this?
Well, yeah.
Conversations with people yet?
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people felt quite emotional about it. Like people who've given me something that they had quite a kind of personal story about. Yeah, like this was somebody's nan's scarf. I mean, I think she had a lot of scarves, so I didn't feel too guilty about it to a reasonable. But yeah, she felt quite emotional when she saw it, and I think that's kind of what I'm interested in is people's attachment to garments and how it can kind of like trigger memory, and like people want to hold on to things, but also like some people might have had bad experience. There was somebody who told me kind of a bad experience that they associated with the clothing, and that they they wanted to kind of let go of it, and then it kind of transformed into something else. Any more questions? No? Well, thank you. I think we're going to do Beverly next. Next is Beverly over here.